Hello, everybody. Welcome inside the lamp. We've got a really exciting episode today with some really cool NEMT content and some really cool stuff about RouteGenie. Let's get moving.
Inside the lamp where wishes come true. RouteGenie's here to show you what you need to do. NEMT insights, we got the key. Unlock the journey with RouteGenie.
Welcome to Inside the Lamp, your go-to podcast for everything NEMT and RouteGenie software. Let's get moving.
All right, today we are here with a very special guest. I'm here with the co-founder and CPO from SafeRide Health. Also, he serves on the NEMTAC Technology Advisory Committee along with me, Mr. Ben Salter. Ben, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So, Ben, SafeRide Health has really kind of taken off. So where in the country do you guys serve currently?
Tell me. Just got our 50th state, so really excited about that. So all 50 states and even Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands.
That's awesome. So nationwide. So if you're a TP watching here, there's SafeRide Health in your state.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about how you guys got started in all this.
Yeah. Well, started about 9 years ago. I'm one of the co-founders. We have three co-founders. One of my other co-founders was an EMT for many years, and Lyft and Uber had kind of just come out, and he saw that there was an opportunity to take what Lyft and Uber was doing and bring it to the healthcare space. So we kind of jumped on that opportunity. Initially, we worked closely with care providers. So, small regional health plans, doctor offices. We were in that space for a couple years, and then we started to expand out to take on larger regional contracts with health plans, specifically in the MA space, Medicaid space, and then worked our way up to work with larger and larger MCOs, multi-state programs. Now we work with about 8 of the top 10 healthcare provider or insurance companies in the country.
To go from 0 to 50 states and working with some of the biggest players in the industry in 9 years is just pretty impressive. It's unbelievable.
It's been a wild ride. It's been a lot of fun. It's a dream come true to sit back and watch this thing unfold, and a lot more to come. We've had a lot of growth, a lot of success, but there's a lot more that we want to do in the industry.
Awesome. And so one of the reasons we have you here today, and we're going to talk quite a bit about it, we're very excited to announce our integration with SafeRide Health. So we have quite a few of our providers that work with you and are performing trips within your network. So we're going to talk a lot about integration and why it's important today. So let's talk a little bit about you've kind of mentioned some of them, the different groups that you work with and how an integration, from the TP level to you as a broker, how it impacts your customers.
Sure. It's a great question. So why don't we take a step back and just talk about, how does a broker work with their clients and who are a broker's clients, right? For us, we're in the Medicare Advantage space and Medicaid space. And then within each of those, on the Medicaid side, we're really working with MCOs or state contracts, essentially. On the MA side, it's mostly MCOs that we work with. And so the way that the relationship works, especially when you work with larger multi-state contracts, is MCO, health plan, care provider will put out an RFP. A broker will come in, they will bid on the RFP. And then as part of the contract between a broker and the health plan MCO, the client will outline SLAs that the broker needs to meet, right? So, you need to have certain call center metrics, you need to have a certain fulfillment rate, you need to have a certain on-time rate. There's a whole list of requirements that you need to meet as a broker. This is to ensure that, on the health plan side, that their members are getting great care, right? And essentially the broker is then taking those requirements and making sure that their supply network, the TPs, are meeting those requirements as well. So, when a broker comes to a TP and they've got this long list of requirements, TPs should know that it's not really coming from the broker. A lot of that is coming from the health plan itself, and the broker's just kind of passing that through.
Yeah, I think we see that with vehicle credentialing. Everybody's always, it's so hard to get credentialed with this broker, but really that's not the broker's rules. It's usually the contract that they're fulfilling, and the broker is just doing the execution.
Yeah, yep. And actually, it goes up one level, especially within state. The MCOs, they're actually beholden to rules by the state, right? Or even CMS at the national level, right? And there are certain states that have a 200-page document of requirements that the MCO must meet. So the MCO then passes that to the broker, and the broker must meet those. And then the broker passes them to the supplier, and the supplier must meet them. So that's where it's really coming from, ultimately.
Yeah, if anybody's ever bored, go check out the New York State Medicaid NEMT provider manual. It's pretty thick, but there's some really in-depth stuff in there. There's a lot, and that was actually my presentation at NEMTAC this year was about kind of what happens behind the scenes. If I hear so much from providers, they ask us, "How do I become a broker?" Because I don't think everybody understands kind of what happens behind the scenes. And the things you're talking about, we're not even getting into all of the eligibility requirements that you have, making sure people qualify for different programs, figuring out what the proper mode of transportation is, all these other things that you're doing. You're just scraping the surface of the different things that you're doing.
Yep.
So we've got MCOs that you're working with, whether it be Medicare Advantage or Medicaid. So they've got their requirements to fulfill with their contract, whether it be because it's something they want to fulfill or because they're beholden to CMS or their state program. So they've given you metrics, or they've given you a requirement for tracking or whatever it might be. So now you've got to fulfill that. And how does the integration help you fulfill those things?
Yeah, good question. You kind of hit the nail on the head, right? Like there are requirements around SLAs. So fulfillment, on-time rate, API integration helps with all of that, right? So with an API integration, we can get real-time visibility into where are the drivers, what status are they in, what time are they at the pickup location, what time are they dropping the members off. All of those data fields, get aggregated, put into metrics, and then sent to the MCO at the end of the day. And the MCO then kind of packages those up and then sends them to the state, right? So having a direct connection allows us to do that seamlessly, right? It means that, TPs, they don't need to manually track the drop-off time of a driver and then, enter it in a log, pass it to the broker. Can all be done seamlessly. It can all be tracked in real time. It just makes everyone's life better, right? On the broker side, on the TP side, and then better data for the MCO and state as well.
I think sometimes what gets overlooked too is because you have that seamless communication, you get a lot less miscommunication. So things like, especially same day trips, if there's because a provider doesn't show up or there was a miscommunication, or if it's a same day schedule, if you're working with a portal, you may not see that trip. But if that trip just pops into your dispatch system, it's going to get handled. And we see it all the time. Quite a few trips get missed if they're just going into your portal and someone's not watching that thing like a hawk all day long.
Yeah, we see it on both sides, right? So we added a new trip. We gave a new trip to a TP. You're right. It goes in our portal. They don't see it in their portal. They don't pick up that trip. But then we see it the other way, right? Like a TP might have to cancel a ride, and they cancel it in their portal and it doesn't get back to us. And then a member doesn't get picked up because a miscommunication. So we see that as well. I think the other area that I would point out is really translational. It reduces translational issues, right? Having an API reduces translational issues. So today, without an API connection, a TP would have to do one of two things. One, they manually transcribe from the broker portal into their portal the trips, which is really fraught for errors. Or two, they export trips out of the broker portal and then import them into the dispatch portal, right? Both of those are ripe for what I call booking errors, essentially. So some sort of translational issue that causes a booking error, whether it's an address, a time, service level, you name it.
For sure. The more we can make it live communication, the better. And especially if sometimes there's little miscommunications, and with APIs, we can communicate errors back and forth. It makes it a little bit easier for everybody to catch if something's going wrong.
Yep.
Let's talk about the members a little bit. I think that gets overlooked. The technology, obviously, we're getting better information back to the end payer. It's easier for you as a broker. It's easier for the TP. It's easier for us as a supporting member of the whole arrangement, right? We're supporting the TPs. When there's that live communication, it makes it easier for us because the data is a little bit cleaner. So everybody's winning there, but the members really come out as winners too. How does it impact the member experience?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, for our integration with RouteGenie, it kind of works like this, where, ultimately the ride is being fulfilled by a driver app from RouteGenie, right? The driver's in there, they're driving around. We know the real-time location of the driver. We know the status update, right? So we're taking that through our API connection from RouteGenie to SafeRide. On the SafeRide side, our members have a member app, right, where they can go in, they can see the location of their driver, they can see the status of their rides. So they can actually pull up their app, they can see where the driver's at, they can see the ETA of the driver, the location of the driver. That way it can help them connect, right? And that's like the real big piece of this is like when a member needs to know, hey, where's my driver? Instead of calling into a call center, open up an app, through the API connection, they can see exactly where the driver's at. And that's the real benefits of the member.
Kind of goes back to what you talked about at the beginning when you were getting started, that Uber and Lyft experience that you kind of talked about, giving that to the healthcare system. That's really one of the huge benefits of the rideshare platforms, right? Is just that transparency, knowing what's going on with my ride. Having that live communication, we can bring that to the member.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And that's one of the reasons why we've been so successful across the country, right? Like we're bringing the Lyft and Uber experience to members in 50 states, right? We've got over 1,500 TP partners across the U.S. We're trying to bring them, our members, the Lyft and Uber experience with a massive supply base across the U.S.
Awesome. So I'm sure there's some RouteGenie customers and not RouteGenie customers watching this that may not work with SafeRide in those 50 states. If they're interested in becoming a provider for SafeRide, what does that process look like?
It's a great question. So it's easy. It all starts on our website. So go to SafeRideHealth.com. There's a TP section on our website. Go to that. There's a form that you can fill out. It gives basic information about your operation, location, types of service levels that you have, types of vehicles. Fill out that information, and then one of our network specialists will reach out to you and contact you. We're always looking to add TPs to our network. We're growing really quickly. We're in, as you said, 50 states, so we need TPs anywhere in the U.S.
Awesome. So yeah, RouteGenie customers, you've got that live integration now too, so it'll be nice and easy to get your SafeRide trip. So if you're not working with SafeRide, make sure you check that out. Get on the SafeRide network and start working with them. Well, Ben, thanks so much for the time today. We appreciate you joining us, and we are looking forward to getting this integration off the ground and getting RouteGenie customers integrated with SafeRide.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on here. Really appreciate you inviting me to the show. And yeah, all the TPs out there, please come to our website, sign up, use RouteGenie to help connect with our network, and take care, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks. That's all for today, folks. Again, if you haven't already, please make sure you like, subscribe, follow, depending on what platform you're watching on, to make sure you don't miss any more of our awesome NEMT content. Have a great day.